So hello everybody, welcome to our webinar today, especially we call it Webinar, exclusively for all our Australian SBS lifestyle consultants. For all the people who don't know me, my name is Wolfgang Jack, CEO of Swiss Bionic Solutions. I'm happy to have you guys here today. The format of the webinar is quite simple. I unmute everybody of you, so that we can stay with the protocol. We have a couple topics which I would like to share with you. The main topics of the webinar today are give you some general updates from the corporate side. Then let's talk a little bit about IMRS Prime troubleshooting, specifically the little bells and whistle, what you can do in case the system is frozen or shows some kind of unexpected behavior. And and then I would like to also speak a little bit about marketing tools, specifically the back office, because there is quite some misunderstanding within the entire organization how to make business with us, and also how to support newly signed up representatives. And I can see a lot of potential here, what we can do all together in order to get new people up and running, to help them, to educate them, to support them, to make flawless business with us, and also where to find certain information and stuff like that. Towards the end of the webinar, I will quickly give you an update about the recent projects which we are working right now within our corporate structure to support you, to support our business globally, especially in these very difficult times right now. And then followed by a Q&A. The format of the Q&A is quite simple because we have too many people. I don't want to have everybody with video and audio on. So if you have any questions, please just write it in the chat so I can read them, and then I will share the questions with all of the participants, and in the same time then hopefully give you the correct answer. I assume everybody's hearing me. I don't see anything here. I don't see anything wrong here. So let's start right away with the with some general updates about the IMRS Prime development stage. As you know, the IMRS Prime, the new flagship of our PMF system and probably the new pinnacle of PMF systems globally, was a long way to come to the point that we were able to release the delivery of the new IMRS Prime. And unfortunately, the crucial stage of development happened within the time the pandemic hit us globally. I'm not sure how it is in Australia right now with COVID-19, all the measures and all the restrictions, but in Europe it's getting pretty tougher and tougher. Most European countries, everything is still on lockdown. In Switzerland, for example, we have just the main businesses open, the stores. We have no restaurants open. Almost, we have a duty to stay at home when it comes to business. So there is kind of a home office obligation wherever it applies. So it's quite difficult to make business. And obviously, the entire pandemic and its restrictions and measures has a very, very profound impact on how we can do all business, especially for a company like us. We are globally organized, not only in terms of sales and marketing, but also in terms of production and manufacturing. So you can probably imagine the IMRS Prime is a unit where we have about 1,500 to 2,000 single parts built in. And those parts, they come from all kinds of parts of the world. wherever the special companies are located, where we can retrieve all the parts we need for manufacturing. This is pretty difficult, and it's getting more and more difficult. We have a global situation. There is a shortage on certain parts. There is also big problems with logistics. So the logistic resources are quite limited at the moment, and so I would just, from my point of view and from my experience and how I have to deal as the CEO of this company on a daily basis, it's very tough because you cannot plan anymore. Predictions are pretty difficult in terms of when the goods are delivered, the manufacturing will be done. So it's pretty tough, but it is what it is. We all have to live with it, and we always, work hard to find a way to just make it through that. And it's not over yet, and it's still a pending situation, which is not nice for all of us. And we have also a lot of impacts when it comes to your business, because live meetings are very limited. People become more and more afraid to go in public because of the media, how they present COVID-19 and all these this stuff to us, which creates a lot of confusion, just, what we believe in, whether there is a conspiracy theory behind it whatsoever. But this is not the topic of the webinar today. The idea of this webinar is to give you an idea where we're at, especially because we didn't interact for a long time. Also due to the measures, I have and had no possibility to travel to Australia to see you in person, to exchange our updates and to help and to support you personally to further develop your business. When it comes to the IMRS, so the good news is the basic development stage of the IMRS is accomplished. So all tools, all software, every single function is now fully integrated, tested, up and running. I know we had a lot of glitches during this last 12 months when we started to market the IMRS Prime. However, this is what it is with a new system, especially with the system, a PMF system, which was never done before. For all of you who don't know, I mean, the IMRS Prime is not a standalone PMF device. It's actually a very sophisticated computer compared to any laptop, any PC in the world. We have a fully up and running high tech processor running. The entire engineering software is based on Windows IoT, which is a very sophisticated engineering software. And we have not only current and electricity cycling through our system, we also have a so-called control and observation system, which is done by a USB bus system. So we have a lot of USB hubs built in the system, which controls the application, the patterns of the application, and also the security and safety of the application when it comes to, to pop-up messages in case something is wrong. We all experienced that during the last 12 to 15 months. But right now we are at the stage, also thanks to the user feedback, which we received from you, from your clients, that we were able to, more or less erase all of these glitches. So the IMRS Prime is now running steadily and nicely. And there is still some question marks, because our problem is we cannot always replicate user feedback, especially when it comes how many times users unplug, plug in on all kind of hubs we provide, how fast they do it, and stuff like that. So there is always some unforeseen user behavior, which then more or less will lead to a failure message or to the system interrupting the application. That might be still the case, but it is very rarely, because up to this point, we more or less eliminated most of the glitches. So further upgrades are only planned if we receive still further user feedback in terms of bugs and failure messages whenever they come up. And the only part of the IMRS Prime which is not 100% developed yet, it's the so-called trial version. And the idea and the reason why it's not fully developed is because we are still waiting for the notified body. You know that we are in the current certification process for IMRS Prime, also for Omnium One as medical devices. And the trial version, the idea and philosophy of the trial version was that this specific tool is not mainly designed for end users. It was more or less the idea to provide a full-size and fully equipped PMF system which can be used by science for studies. You have to understand that if you want to perform a study with a PMF device, you have to make sure that you need some hardware for this. And most of the studies, they are published, medical studies published in journals or on PubMed or whatsoever. The people who perform these studies, they usually have to create a prototype because they have to build in all the necessary technology to expose the pattern which they would like to expose together with the idea and the concept of the study. We talk here about the waveforms, the intensities, the frequencies, and so on and so on. So all the properties which are necessary to define a study and then to perform it. So with the IMRS Prime, with the trial version, we have a PMF system which has a so-called built-in frequency generator. So you can more or less create any existing physical waveform, whether it's a sine wave, a square wave, a sawtooth, triple sawtooth, triangle, whatsoever. All physical waveforms are able to be produced or to be exposed by the IMRS Prime while utilizing the trial version. So that's the idea. And like I said, we are at the stage where we have not yet a final commitment from the notified body what we can build in. We have all the options still, and we can always provide updates with firmware. So, you know, we are not at the point where we are limited with the IMRS Prime when it comes to improve application patterns, increase options and functions. This is the good thing of having a full running Windows IoT system in the background, that we can solve all this and upgrade with further firmware upgrades. So more or less, you have a system in hand which has a basic intelligence based on the development which we achieved so far, but you also have a system in hand which is ready and capable of implementing further functions, further tools, even, you know, not related to PMF. Remember, we started with implementing far infrared together with PMF. So we have all the possibilities for the future without changing the basic brain and the hardware, because we have the control unit and the connector box designed in a way that it can be further developed without changing the hardware. So an update in terms of the medical certifications, very important for all of us, because you became aware that a lot of newsletters we published during the last months, they were all related to compliance, because compliance becomes more and more important in this new world. Specifically when we talk about medical devices, you know, based on the fact that there are a lot of devices in the market which are sold by a lot of companies, 90% of all these companies, they don't have any certificate, and they are obviously illegally marketing these devices. The reason why they still can market these devices is based on the fact that, you know, there are almost no resources anymore to control the internet. Who controls the internet? There is no governing agency controlling the internet. You know, the World Wide Web, the social media, YouTube, whatever you name it, we call it, it's more or less regulated by competition. So, you know, whenever we see a video on YouTube of a competitor claiming some stuff which is not real, we would have the obligation to fight against it, which is also something which cannot be achieved, because you have to find out where the company is located. You have to file a lawsuit. I mean, I filed a lawsuit 2.5 years ago in America against a company who did false claims in regards to PMF units, and there was no trial yet after 2.5 years. So, you know, it costs a lot of money. It costed me already $60,000, you know, on attorney costs and everything. And we still have, after 2.5 years, no outcome. So that's just an approach. We cannot afford it financially, and we don't have the resources. And, you know, me personally, I also don't have the brain to constantly fight against competition. And with the harmonization of a lot of rules and policies, especially within the medical world, it becomes a little bit more easier, because the governing agencies, whether it's the FDA for USA, whether it's the European Commission, whether it's the Commission in Australia, they start working together in a way that they harmonize rules and policies in order to you know, present a compliant platform for companies who follow the rules. And with the development of the IMRS Prime, we made the clear decision that from now on, we want to follow the rules 100%. Sometimes it's not easy, because, you know, a lot of competitors still make claims, you know, and they sometimes create an advantage, but it's not sustainable, because at a certain point they will be caught and then they will disappear from the market. We are ruling and, you know, accompanying the entire market of energy medicine, the entire market of PMF since more than 20 years now, and we are still on the market. Why? Because we follow the rules, and nobody can attack us, you know, except what we don't have under control is if even a certain percentage of our representatives, they start using their own claims, making their own videos, creating their own websites without asking us up front whether this is legally compatible. And be aware, because if you come up with a website, if you come up with a publishing anything, you cannot blame it on the company. You know, if you come up with a website and you design content, you are eligible of that. And like I said, and not Swiss Bionic and not any other company. And that's why we become very strict when it comes to share and publish information, not because we want to treat you in a bad way, or we want to tell you what is how this business works better. It's the only reason why we do this is to protect you, so that nobody can attack you, nobody can file lawsuits against you, because you will be eligible for that and you cannot put it on anybody else. So please be aware, you know, everything we do in regards to compliance, you know, we do it in good faith, and we do it because we want to protect you, and we do it because we are a sustainable company. And we do it because we believe that with the IMRS Prime, we have a system in hand with which we, you know, during the next days will rule this market easily, because there is no competition for this device. I mean, you know, there is not even a comparison to any other devices. The only comparison is maybe that we are all in the same field. We expose pulse electromagnetic fields. But when it comes to look at the details, when it comes to look at the options, when it comes to look at the variations and the flexibility of the device and the future trend of this device, nobody on the market can compete with us. That's fact. And we can show this to people, we can lay it out to people, and and we can prove it. And the last little thing what is still missing is now the new medical certification according to 2017 MDR 2017-745. That's the new European rule for medical devices, which is also harmonized with the FDA, with Health Canada, with TGA, and so on and so on. So once we have this in hand, then we will be able, to go even a step further, because we will be the first and only device registered and certified according to this new norm, which is, I tell you, pretty strict. And it is very expensive to get this kind of certification. And it's very time consuming. And right now, the waiting time for a MDR application is between 12 and 24 months. So if you file a certification now, you have to wait 1 to 2 years until a notified body will touch it and deal with it. And we are almost done with this. So let's have a look. I will say a couple of words about this after this slide here, which is very important. Troubleshooting with IMRS Prime. In order to troubleshoot with the IMRS Prime, we have to differentiate between a hardware issue and a software issue. It's very important. A hardware issue is, for example, we have a connector box and the connector box is not turning on. That's a hardware issue. We cannot do anything, Or you have a control unit which is attached to the connector box, and the connector box still shows orange. You cannot. There is no current coming to the control unit. The control unit cannot be turned on. That looks like a hardware issue. Hardware issues are eligible for immediate exchange. Send it back. We exchange it. All good. So the hardware issues are quite obvious. Also, when it comes to applicators, if an applicator is malfunctioning out of manufacturing, which is very rarely, because we have a quality management system that every applicator is tested with a specific test protocol when it leaves manufacturing and it goes into our warehouse. But still, due to human failures, due to shipping with humidity, with vibration, who knows? We don't know it because we are not physically present when our goods are in containers or in cartons and will be sent. But whenever there is a hardware issue, usually the IMRS Prime will display a hardware issue, applicator break, cable break, whatsoever. In case of these things, we still can do some troubleshooting in order to really, exclude a software issue. And I will give you a little bit of an idea what you can do. Basically, almost every single software issue can be resolved without sending in the systems. We got so many systems back from customers, where the customer claims, or even the rep claims, just by don't knowing the system very well, the system is not working, please exchange, And with 2-3 very simple steps, we can figure out that the system, the hardware, is running perfectly, and there was just kind of a software issue. It can be user behavior, it can be plugging in, plugging out. There are so many possibilities right now with these very sensitive computer programmed and computer controlled devices. Anything can happen, and you know it from your smartphone, you know it from your laptop, from your PC. A lot of possibilities, and sometimes we are at the stage, the screen is frozen, our smartphone does not turn off anymore whatsoever, but there are still possibilities how we can troubleshoot in the comfort of our home or in the comfort of the home of the user or the client. And in most of the cases, we can wake up the system again and make it running. but it's a step-by-step approach, and you need to know what you are doing. So with the IMRS Prime, we have 4 possibilities where we can restart the system. Like I mentioned before, there might be a failure, you know, that the IMRS Prime cannot detect an applicator, for example. It's a classical failure, which we had in the past. Now because we refined the protocol so good that it really rarely happens anymore. But it might be theoretically still be the case that a customer is facing this problem. So the easiest way, we have 4 way of resetting the system. We have the reboot, the factory reset, we have a shutdown, and we have a forced shutdown. I will explain to you what the 4 possibilities, what's behind it, and what the system does when you choose one of the options. Very important, you know, make sure that our clients, as well as you at home, that your IMRS Prime or the client's IMRS Prime is always equipped with the latest firmware update. The firmware updates are there, you know, in order to eliminate failures and bugs, to improve process stability, to improve functionality, you know, and those firmware updates, they have to be done diligently in order to keep the system running on the highest possible level. And for example, just, you know, we have a lot of feedbacks. The system cannot find the update on my stick. Well, you know, I think we mentioned it already 10, 15, 20 times. Use an empty USB stick. You know, the IMRS Prime control unit is a very sensitive and sophisticated medical device. It's a computer, yes, but it's not like a regular PC or a laptop. You know, it's very sensitive. We have 6, 8, 12. We have 12 USB hubs on this system, you know. And in order to create a clean firmware update, use an empty USB stick, because sometimes it happens if you have 50, 60 files or 20, 30 folders on your USB stick, that the system cannot detect the right file, or the stick is already contaminated with some old data which are lying somewhere in a directory which cannot be seen. So in order to make a clean firmware update, make sure that you use an empty USB stick where you only transfer the one and only firmware file on it, and then plug it in to your control unit on the left side in one of the USB hubs, and start the firmware upgrade process via the settings and the system information. That's very important. Oops, it's okay. Okay, so let's look what the system does. For example, reboot. You know, reboot is a very, very simple way to restart the application. You will find it under settings and system information. It's the green button on the left side, you know, at the bottom of the menu within the window of system information. If you tap on reboot, the system will not start the entire operating system newly. It will only restart the application. What happens when you restart the application? This is similar. For example, you have a smartphone, you open one of the apps, let's say Instagram, and something is not working. You wipe it out, and then you press the button again to restart it. This is what reboot similarly means for the IMRS Prime. You only restart the application, but not the entire operating system in the background. The good thing about reboot is that the IMRS Prime initiates a new process of applicator detection. So what I mean with this is, if you have an issue that the IMRS Prime doesn't detect one or the other applicator and does not show it in the application window, then you might try a reboot. Because if you do a reboot, the application will be forced to close. In the same time, it will be restarted, and the IMRS Prime initializes a new process of applicator detection. So it asks again every USB hub whether there is an applicator plugged or not, and then tries to retrieve the information from the applicator and display it and work with it. So that's a quite simple way. Reboot goes, it's very quickly, it's a couple seconds. Try it if you have a problem with applicator detection failures. You know, the next thing is the factory reset. The factory reset, it's a quite deep reset within the IMRS Prime, because when you do a factory reset, all variables will be reset. So that means if you stored anything on the IMRS Prime, such as music files, even the log files from the record management, you know, they will be all deleted once you perform a factory reset. You know, also all data which you put into program mode, you know, to set up different users, and also protocols within trial mode, they will be deleted once you hit factory reset. And so this is probably the last exit scenario. If nothing works anymore, but you still have access to the menu, you might perform a factory reset in order to check whether a hardware issue can be excluded and it's a software problem, you know? The next one is a shutdown via menu. It's within the same menu than the reboot. So you go on the settings, on system information, and right beside the button reboot, there is a button which is called shutdown. Shutdown is a controlled closing of all system processes, including the operating system. So, you know, it's the same like when you have a Windows or an Apple, when you end or when you shut down your laptop by using the menu for shutdown, you know, so that's what we call a so-called controlled shutdown. All system processes will be properly closed. This is also a possibility of a measure whenever the IMRS Prime is behaving strangely. So you can try a shutdown via the menu, and then the entire operating system will reload again. Obviously, also the application will be restarted. A new application detection process will be initiated, and that might solve the problem in certain cases. The last exit scenario, if you have no access on the touchscreen anymore, so if you cannot utilize buttons on the touchscreen, is the so-called forced shutdown. A forced shutdown can be performed by pressing the on-off button on the right side of your control unit. You know, just press on it for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then we have a so-called uncontrolled shutdown. You know, and this is necessary in case of frozen operations. So whenever you have no access to the touch screen anymore, and this is similar to when you hit your on/off button on your laptop because you cannot operate it anymore. You know, so you turn it off, everything will be shut down. You know, cut off current, and this is what we call uncontrolled. And then when you turn it on again, it will reboot from scratch again. So this is also an option, you know, those 4 options, reboot, factory reset, shutdown, forced shutdown, are all possibilities in case your IMRS Prime shows strange behavior or does not function 100% how you expect it to be functioned, you know. Like I said, in 99% of all cases, if there is no truly detected hardware failure, you can wake up the system and make it running again by using one of these 4 options. So that's very important for you to remember. And also use our tools. We have an IMRS Prime support site, you know. Here is the URL where you find a lot of videos, where you find a lot of information, where you always find the newest firmware upgrade, where you find description and manuals, how to perform a firmware upgrade, and so on and so on. You know, those sites are here, and we have the impression that a lot of people don't even utilize this site, or for some reasons, they don't go there and read through it. In my opinion, it's an obligation for every single Swiss Bionic registered lifestyle consultant to know about these tools and to use them and to share them with the people who are in need of them. You know, this is our business. This is the core of our business, to inform people about what kind of support possibilities we have, instead of sending me an email, my system does not turn on, what shall I do? I mean, this is something, I get these emails on a daily basis, you know, so I know what I'm talking about. And then I figure out it's coming mostly from the people who don't even know that we have support on the web, online support, sites, tools. You know, we have even, you know, videos. We have our own new video channel, IMRS Prime YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube, search for IMRS Prime, and you will find a lot of videos. There's a complete video series, how to set up the IMRS Prime, how to troubleshoot, how to do a firmware update, all short, very good videos, which gives everybody a very good support how to set up and how to use the systems. But you have to share these tools, and you have to use them, you know, and you have to know where to find them. So please do me a favor and take a look. You have to watch all these videos in order to share it with somebody else, because then you know what we are all talking about. You know? So, and the next thing, you know, is the back office. A lot of people, they don't even know that we have a back office. And do you know how I know it? Because people write me emails, and all our staff in the administration, can you send me an order form for Europe? Can you send me a price list for Asia? You know, no, you know, we have a back office, and the back office provides you with all this information. And that's why part of this webinar today will be, we take a look at the back office live, and I will show you all the tools. And, you know, if you sign somebody up, you know, in your downline, it is an obligation for you to introduce the back office to these new people, so that they know how to cooperate and how to work with our company in terms of how is the order process, how are the procedures and policies, what kind of marketing tools do I have, where can I find them, how I have access to them. Those are all the things usually, you know, and that's the basic idea of network marketing. You know, the leaders of network marketing, they do the onboard calls with the newly signed up reps, and they introduce all these tools to them so that they know how to work with it. I have the feeling that, you know, a lot of leaders don't do this anymore or never did it. And that's pretty sad, because that's the main key to success and to grow your own organization. It's to constantly inform your downline about the news. You get the newsletters from us with all the links, you know, you have all the information. And yes, maybe a lot of new signed up reps, they don't even read the newsletters, because at the beginning it ends up in their spam whatsoever. But it's your duty as a leader, as a experienced Swiss Bionic lifestyle consultant, to introduce your new people to these kind of tools, so that they know how they're going to work with us. And beside the fact that, you know, it helps us to get a lot of work from our chest, it helps you to grow your organization. Because if you have reps who know what they are doing, who know what they can share, who know where to find the information, and who know how to, deal with administration with Swiss Bionic, that's the core of network marketing. You know, the idea of network marketing is, I can only become successful if I make my people successful. And, you know, the main duty is transfer of information. And if this information does not come to our people, how can they know how to work with us? You know, so it's very important that you take this to heart. You know, what I always did from when I started with this business, when I signed up somebody, I always, at that time, I did an onboard call by phone. You know, I called the rep, welcome to our company. I'm here to help you. I give you now an overview of what we offer for you, how you have access to it, and how you can utilize it. And this has to be done because that's the core value of this of network marketing. That's the core value of our business, you know, sharing information and keeping our people updated. You know, the next good thing, if we use the back office, everything what is placed in the back office represents our corporate identity. So that makes it easier in the future to duplicate your business. You know, we are working now to create more and more tools when it comes to compliant claims and formulations, because I figured out that a lot of reps, they want to reinvent the wheel. You know, they always try to find new claims for PMF. You know, there are no new claims for PMF. PMF, it is what it is, you know, and according to the new medical device regulation, our PMF device is dedicated for certain claims, and we have to stick with these claims, if we like it or not. It is what it is. PMF is so powerful that we tend to think that it helps for this and helps for this and helps for this, which in case it does, but we cannot claim all that. You know, we have to find a way how we stay compliant with all the claims and formulations we make. And the easiest way is take what the company offers. And that, you know, with the last newsletter, we're gonna, I send you a new section within our back office when it comes to pre-formulated answers on the most asked questions, you know, and this is also based on the questions I receive on an ongoing basis. So from now on, it's very easy, you know, how does PMF work? Go to the back office, you know, copy and paste the answer, put it in the email for the client or the prospect and send it to them. And then you are clean. You have a compliant formulation, you know, which you are not liable for because we as a company provide it. And in the same time, you have a quick tool which you can use and share it with others, you know, unified wording, you know, we can only position ourselves with our brand, with our company, with our devices, you know, if we all share the same wording, what our systems does, what our company does, how we're going to work with, you know, and it makes it much easier to duplicate your personal business. You know, network marketing, the success of network marketing is based on duplicating your business. So you have to teach other people what other people taught you before. That's exactly what needs to be done. And from my feeling and from my opinion, which is almost forgotten already, because we are concentrated on, you know, even good networkers, they start concentrating on direct selling instead of investing 2 hours per day, not more, you know, on a consistent basis, like we use PMF, not high intensity, but consistently. The same with our business, you know, invest 2 hours per day, you know, to get in touch with your downline, to get in touch with your representatives, to teach them what somebody taught you before. Back office, you know, everything is there, but it has to be shared because otherwise it cannot be duplicated. It's quite simple. And network marketing is not very difficult. It becomes more and more difficult because people make it more difficult. Instead of going back to the roots, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if I have a representative in my organization, in my downline, to whom I have constant contact, whom I train constantly, you know, maybe one time a week, 1 hour. It's not about X amount of time. It's about do it consistently. About making an onboard call with every newly signed up rep. Welcome to the company. Nice to have you. You know, I'm ready here to work with you. I'm here to support you. Those are the things, very, very important. And this is actually what I think we should do. Oops, now I lost the, sorry, here we are back. Teaching your downline. And at the end of the day, if you use what we offer you, you are legally protected. So that's very important. So here is the back office. Everybody, when signing up with Swiss Bionic, receives a welcome email with all the links. Everybody has to choose a username and a password in order to get access to the back office. And I have the impression that most of the people, they never looked inside there, because we get so many questions and so many requests, and most of the stuff is already answered or it's in the back office. And I want to do a quick live introduction to the back office right now to you in order to get a little bit of an understanding. So let's just share this here. So let's see here. Hold on a second. Here we are. So here is the back office. So once you type in your username and your password, this is what you see. This is your dashboard. You're going to see in which plan you are signed up. Here we have a test rep. He or she signed up within the 7CR plan. The current rent is 1G. What you see here in your statistics, it's more or less a just-in-time statistics where you see your commission of your current month. So whenever whenever an order is processed within your organization, whether it's a direct sale of you or somebody in your downline, it will reflect in your commissions here. You see the sold units you already sold accumulatively within 7CR plan, and here the numbers of lifestyle consultants which are signed up in your organizations. You have here the commission for direct sales. When you're 1G, you are at 7.5. When you are 6G, you are at 6 times 7.5%. This will reflect here how many units in group sales you have, and whether you are where you're at within the 90 days rule, which makes you eligible for bonus commission. Here would be your earnings in the currency. We have no territorial restrictions, so you can do your business globally. And whenever you do, for example, from Australia, you would make an order in Europe, or one of your downline makes an order in Europe, it will be in the currency euro, and you would receive your commission in euro from the German office, Swiss Bionic office. Here we have our most successful leaders in the entire organization, so 6G and above. And now let's go to the left side here. Here you have the dashboard. That's the main menu. Here you can edit your profile. You could principally change your password if you want to do it. And this is already a very important information here, because whenever you add something here or you change something here, it will also automatically reflect in our order and commission system. So for example, if a bank information is changing, or if a company information is changing, we have to rely on you that you update those data in your personal back office, because then it will automatically be transferred into our commission and ordering system. So then we have the information about your personalized website. So everybody signing up for Swiss Bionic gets his or her own personalized website right at the moment when they sign up. It says what is the URL. It reflects to the username. For example, this test username was Modo. So the personal website would be https://modo.swissbionic.com. And it reflects for Swiss Bionic, for omnium1.com, and for imrsprime.com. So you you know, you can even choose here which kind of information you would like to show. Display your name on the on your personal website, yes or no. Display your rep ID, display your email address, display your phone number, whatever. You can choose here, and then you save the changes, and then it will be automatically updated. Downline 7CR, sorry, downline 7CR. Here you would see your entire downline, the people all below you, you know, usually with rep IDs, rank, phone number, and email address. From here, for example, you could create an email group for all your downline and, for example, send them an invitation email for your weekly Zoom educational events, which you perform with them, or if you don't find an email address from a new rep, you can look inside here and you will find it, and you can organize an onboard call whatsoever. You have statistics here, which shows you which month. You can even choose the month here, going back, since you signed up with the company, and see your direct sales. So you have a complete back office which is provided individually to you, in terms of observing and even controlling and retrieving all kinds of information what you need. Here you would have your sales. You can also go back in time and you can see your personal sales and even the sales of your downline. The next one is commission. Here is, every commission report we create for you, it will be uploaded to your personal back office. So for example, if you do your tax return at the end of the year and you cannot find commission reports, you can always go in and retrieve it again month by month. And you can go back, till the time since you signed up with Swiss Bionic. It will be all saved in your personal back office, even back until the time you signed up. Then here we have the latest newsletters for all countries. We have different newsletters for different parts of the world. And you can always see the data when it was sent. You can see the topics, you can see everything. It's saved in your personal back office and you have access to it. Germany, Switzerland, Austria newsletter, Asia, world, USA, Canada, and so on. All the information are here. And now one of the most important buttons here is marketing tools. We have the price lists here. If you click on price lists, it's all, sorted by countries and currencies. Here you have all price lists for Asia in Hong Kong dollar, Singapore dollar, US dollar. It's all here. USA, Canada, world, even with the countries where these price lists gonna apply. Some people, they approach us. I have a system, I want to sell it to Egypt. Which price list should I use? Well, go in your back office and look, where is Egypt? I find it here. Here is Asia. I cannot find Egypt. No, it doesn't belong to USA and Canada. World. Here it is. Here is Egypt, world 2. So it's easy to find, and then you can retrieve the correct price list, and then you can forward it to your prospect in the designated country. So that's all the price lists. Let's go a little bit further. We have all the forms here. Order form for all different countries, installation activation form, application program. For example, if I have a client, me personally, you know what I always do? I download the application program, and then, I fill it out for the person. I give them the protocol, how they should use the IMRS Prime at the beginning when they start using it. And they have some important information here, all things which you don't have to reinvent. It's all there, and you have already the corporate identity of Swiss Bionic. You can fill that in on your computer. Then you can save it and send it to the client as a PDF. That's a very professional way to introduce the individual protocol of your client via this nice folder here. So that's how simple as it is. We have flyers here, you know, go through it in different language, English, you know, Chinese, Deutsch, it's German, Français, Italiano, you know, Czechsky, it's Czech Republic, Czech language. We have medical information in English, you know, we have information about PMF and bone metabolism, brainwave entrainment, burnout, depression, lies and myths about PMF, the bioenergetic organism, what is pain, what is health, and so on and so on. You know, at least go through it, download all of them and take a look at it, what we have, because this is very valuable information when you offer and sell one of our devices, and it helps you to get the sale done, you know. Then we have all the images if you want to use it for websites, the logos, you know, everything is there. All the pictures can be used by our representatives without any limitation and restrictions. And they are, you don't violate against any copyrights, because we have the copyright on everything what we upload here on the back office. You can even make roll-up banners, you know, we're gonna update them soon with the IMERS Prime, just wait for the final certification, and so on and so on. And yeah, we have posters. We have even presentations, you know, compensation plan presentations, PowerPoint and Keynote, so for Apple and for Windows users, and so on and so on. Compensation plan explaining in all kinds of languages, in all kinds of versions. You know, we have certain videos, you know, animation loops, which you can use for your website. You know, just go through it and learn about what possibilities you have. All our webinars from the past are recorded, and they will be published here in your back office. You can share them. You can share the links with your new prospects, with people whom you think it would be valuable to share with. Then we have also the manuals, you know, all the owner's manuals in all languages, in all variations, they can be retrieved here. If a customer calls you, I lost my manual for the IMERS Prime, you know, or for the Omnium One, go in your back office, upload it and send it to your customer as PDF, job done. And you deliver perfect customer service. You can even generate business cards, you know, with a Swiss Bionic logo on it. It will then create a print file, and you can go to a local printer and print your own business cards if you wish to. And the new section, I mentioned that already, is the so-called library customer questions. You know, those are questions we collected over the years and which we think are the most asked questions when it comes to you know, creating interest and thinking about a PMF device. Those questions need to be answered professionally in order to convince a new prospect to utilize PMF. How can we explain PMF in simple and short terms? If somebody sends you an email and said, tell me, what is PMF? I never heard about that. Well, it's here. Copy it, paste it, and send it into your browser, or create a PDF file and send an attachment with the answer here. Are there legal contraindications or interactions? All is here. Are there studies about PMF? You know, those answers are all very professionally formulated, and you can use them without any problems, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Those are the answers. You know, can PMF heal illnesses? Those are typical questions, you know. PMF applications with IMERS Prime Omnium One system in general not designed to treat or heal specific diseases, and so on. And then we have also the claims which we can make according to the new MDR to promote bone healing, for example, in the case of a bone fracture, to reduce the sensation of pain from diseases of the locomotor system, for improved wound healing, and for improved peripheral microcirculation. Those four claims are now officially acknowledged by the notified body, and those are the four claims which we can make for the IMERS Prime as well as for the Omnium One once we have the final certification. And we are in good track. You know, we got the new clinical evaluation approved. We got the new electrical safety and electromagnetic compatibility laboratory test approved. We got all the technical documentation approved. The only thing what we are still waiting is a final personal audit of 2 auditors coming from the notified body into the headquarters here, because they want a personal instruction with the IMRS Prime, because they call it a so-called multi-purpose medical device. And they want to have a personal introduction to the system, so they better understand the functions behind it, and they can finally release the certificates for us. But this will happen within the next couple of weeks. Always and again, COVID-19 plays a major role in terms of social distancing. We have no final date yet when they appear, but our internal compliance officer is on it. And this is the last hurdle we have to take, and then we get the grant of the MDR certificate, and then we will immediately start filing the applications for all the countries, including Australia with TGA, which is then not so difficult anymore, because like I said, the new MDR is also harmonized with TGA and can be taken over. And they will probably also be forced to approve those 4 claims as well, because they harmonize with the European system. So go through this, policies and procedures. This is also important, the legal way how we work together, those are things. Take a look at this, and then finally we have the iGuide here. The iGuide is not available as a PDF, not because we don't want to provide it to you, it's because we cannot according to medical directives. So we found a way at least to upload the iGuide in a back office, because it's not available for the public, and you can benefit from this by, if you go on a certain condition like arterial disease, show details, you could easily see the protocol. You could even make a screenshot and send it to a client who is probably suffering from one or the other indication here. That's how simple it works, and that's the back office. Okay, so let's go out here again. One more thing before we go into the Q&A. Let me see quickly. Here we are again. So that was the back office live on web. And finally, from my part, some recent corporate projects. We are in the process right now of creating new corporate websites. This is more or less because of the way websites have to be designed in order to become more compatible with online marketing, SEO and also API implementation. So we will definitely come out with completely new corporate websites for Swiss Bionic. So the Swiss Bionic corporate website, as well as for the IMRS Prime and the Omnium one. The new websites will also contain the new content in terms of relation to the medical certification, the claims and stuff like that. So this will be updated. Coming with the new corporate websites, we will also provide new distributor websites with new plugins. The idea is also to give you plugins where you can organize online meetings with your distributor website, so that you can do it directly through our platform, and we provide you the tools for that. We will come out with new online brochures and also with a new online coaching system. So this is the vision for 2022. To create a coaching system where reps as well as clients can have access to it and become more familiar with the business idea, with the products, technically, and also when it comes to application. So this is a huge project which started about 1 month ago when we finished the development for the IMRS Prime, and we will definitely update you on the progress, but we are working on these projects with the idea to make us ready, fit, and competitive for the future, which is we all know right now, a quite challenging future, and we don't know yet in which direction this goes with all the COVID thing, but we stay positive. And like I said, nevertheless, we are going full throttle and make sure that Swiss Bionic will further rule and increase the business within the entire global PMF market. So now it's your turn, Q&A. I told you it would be helpful if you ask some questions in the chat area, because I prefer this prior to everybody unmuting, and then we have a lot of voices and chaos, which I would like to prevent. I already see some questions from Gary. Is the troubleshooting info available in video or written form? Well, actually, most of what I shared with you today is already available. If you look on the videos on the IMRS Prime YouTube channel, you know, I will explain more or less everything what I told you already, and you know, just watch the videos from the IMRS Prime technical part of the YouTube channel, and like I said, you will find 99% of the answers already. You know, there should be a plain and simple flowchart for non-technical users and representatives. PIX flowchart is always a better delivery. Well, yeah, we take this, we try to figure out, sometimes flowcharts can be tricky, especially with very complex systems like the IMRS Prime, to keep it still simple. But thanks to Cam, I will take this idea and discuss it with our marketing department. Next question from Gary. When using the Prime on a daily basis, do we turn off the machine via forced shutdown or menu shutdown? It's not necessary. You can actually activate the sleeping mode for the display, maybe 15 or 30 minutes, but it's not necessary to completely shut it down. You can, technically it's no problem. You will not lose anything. You will probably save a little bit of money due to the current you save, but it's actually not a lot, because it's only a standby current running. But like I said, technically it's not necessary. You know, if I use it only in the morning and the evening, I personally would probably shut it off after the morning session and turn it on, and, you know, wait a little bit until it reboots. It takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes. And then I at least save the current for the day. But you don't actually damage the system when you at least put the display on sleep mode, so that it turns off after 15 to 30 minutes, and then leave it on the current. It doesn't make a big difference. Is the back office available to a new user to educate them prior to becoming a representative? No. Back office is only available for somebody who is who signed up with us as a representative. You know, so that's the case here. The assumption that all account holders are computer literate is discriminative. Some of our clients are also user only, and therefore we must be mindful and have documentation. Yeah, absolutely. And we have all this documentation. I don't know what should be here discriminative. We have all documentation. Like I said, we have very, very powerful short videos, how we can explain it. Now we have a section with most asked questions and answers, which we can provide them. You know, at the end, the IMRS Prime is and will be a computer. So, you know, like people have to, who are not very tech attached, they always have to find a way how to utilize their computers and smartphone. But we are very, very far away from being discriminative, because we cannot we cannot withhold progress, especially when it comes to high-tech products like the IMRS Prime. And, you know, like I said, the videos on YouTube, you know, can share it with everybody. It's a very, very simple way how to introduce the system. Most of the videos are even no longer than 1.5 or 2 or 3 minutes. And it's a step-by-step explanation, and everybody can work with this, even if you are not attached to technology. you know, can I have a business sign posted, at the front of my property saying I'm a rep of Swiss Bionic? Yes, you can. If you are a registered Swiss Bionic lifestyle consultant, you can put a business sign. Please do us a favor, use the original logo, which you can find in your back office, download it, send it to your graphics guy, and make a draft. If you want to be 100% sure that it aligns to our policies, then you can send an email to marketing@swissbionic.com with a draft, and you can ask for a good to print or something like that. But yes, it's allowed to do that. When can we hope to see infrared available with the quick starts? Not yet, because we need to collect more information in terms of, you know, the quick start programs are more or less based on a lot of experience we collected over a long period of time, to give us a good idea and good confidence which kind of parameters we program for the approach we have in our mind when using the quick starts. So as of now, it's not yet done, but I'm sure it will come in the nearest future. I would not say maybe by the end of the year, but maybe in 2022. We still have to come out with some new stuff anyway. But in general, I see the idea behind it. I see even the benefit behind it to use this. Once we collect more information, we will be happy to implement infrared quick start programs. How this work when signing up a national and local health provider hospital? I don't know what the question is here. How this work when maybe Piri, you can post another question and be more specific what you mean with this, how this work when signing up, and then I can answer it. Another question from Cam, if their process of rollout for version software rollout contains UAT and SIT test together with regression test. I don't know what you mean, I'm sorry. I cannot answer this question. When can we hope to see hybrid available in split mode? This will not work, and I can tell you there's a technical reason why hybrid cannot be used in split mode, because remember, when we use split mode, we not splitting the performance and the power of the applied properties. So in other words, the current which is needed to utilize split mode is already on the top level when we use our 24-volt power plug. So if we would have an additional infrared within split mode, the power which is necessary, for example, to operate a far infrared with a full body mat and PMF on the left side, and another full body mat with only PMF, or even with hybrid with far infrared and PMF on the other side, the power provided by the power plug, 24-volt power plug, would be not sufficient anymore to be capable of doing this. So unfortunately, hybrid mode will never be accessible within the split function because of limited availability of power. And then you could easily say, well, take a bigger power plug, but then the notified body will not allow it anymore, because we are running already on the highest level of what the notified body grants us in terms of applying power to the unit, and also expose intensity levels to the user. So we would run out of compliance once we do that. So unfortunately, FIR within split mode is not possible to achieve. Can we request that printed marketing materials be available for purchase online to help us approach new prospects and not worry about compromised quality for printing in small scale? Well, actually, we do not print anything anymore. We provide everything in PDF, which then can be printed from your side. But, you know, to provide printed marketing materials, I would say it's not state of the time anymore, because, you know, informations are changing so quickly, and sometimes we even have to update or change information in marketing material on an ongoing basis. So that would make the approach of printed marketing material pretty desperate, because we would be always back in time and would be never be able to provide updated information state of the art. Any idea when the spot will be available again? Yes, the spot will, I think we have the next delivery comes in 4 weeks to our Swiss central warehouse, and then we immediately send out the shipments to our country offices. So I would say within the next six weeks, I assume the spot will be available again. Is there a possibility that other items like spot and applicator can contain hybrid? No, it's not, because it's the hybrid full body mat is a very, very sophisticated construction in terms of, like I said, power consumption, power management, and also the way the layers are placed in. It is not possible to implement far infrared into a smaller applicator as of now. Who knows what the future brings? How high is the hertz when using the solfeggio frequencies on the Prime? Well, look at the solfeggio scale online. Go on Google and type in solfeggio scale 9. I think the highest frequency is 900 something. I don't have it in my mind right now, 926 or whatsoever. By the way, the solfeggio scale is the only FastStart program within the IMRS Prime, which will be applied with a sine wave. Why? Because with a sine wave, you can apply one frequency at a time. So the solfeggio scale 9 routine within FastStart will, all 9 solfeggio frequencies will be exposed to the user one after the other. Always, I think with a pattern duration of, I think it's 30 seconds. And then, you know, the next frequency will be applied with a sine wave. So why we do this? Because we want to make sure that once you use solfeggio scale 9, that every single frequency will be exposed and received by the user without any noise, without any additional overwave. It's actually the user, while applying solfeggio scale 9, will get the pure solfeggio frequency once at a time, one after the other. So, and like I said, the highest hertz is in the, I think it's in the 900 hertz range. Google it, solfeggio scale 9, 963 hertz. Thanks, Tom. Okay, got it here. When will you consider coming to Australia, or is there a set date for opening a head office in Sydney, Melbourne? By when will finance option be? Yeah, this is the big question. I mean, I plan to go to Australia within the next 12 months already 5 times. Unfortunately, I am not allowed to travel to Australia yet. And so I'm also not allowed to think about all the other questions related to finance options, opening an office. You know that opening an office requires setting up a company as a foreign citizen to set up a company in Australia. You need to be present. You also need to set up a company with Australian participant and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I cannot answer these questions right now, because I simply don't know. We will see. I mean, we observe the situation with COVID-19, but like I said, as of now, there is no end in sight. And I just hope and pray that it will come soon. Because believe me, I would love to go out again, to see all you guys, and to share everything what we have, to help educating you, supporting you, because this is what I'm doing all my life, and this is my passion. And like I said, whenever I have a possibility, I promise you, I'm gonna come right away. And then we will also initiate meetings and gatherings again. And then hopefully it will be a little bit more easier to interact than it is right now via webinars. Is the new stock of the spot the same, or has it been improved? No, it's exactly the same. I love my trial program. Can there be more than 10 safe choices? Yeah, there can be hundreds of it. So, you know, this is the kind of feedback. I mean, once we get it, we take it to heart, and the system technically is capable of giving you hundreds of choices, because the built-in processor is easily capable of doing that. Even the storage units we built in the IMRS Prime easily capable of saving more than 10 choices. So yes, it's possible, and it's a good idea for the future. What is your vision projection for the next 5 years for both the technology and also the structure of our global structure? Well, like I said, right now there's a shift in place. There's the shift from, you know, regulating a lot of, you know, holistic medical stuff into real regulation. So what happens within the field of energy medicine, with, let's say, within of any kind of healing aids, energy medicine technology, everything what is not 100% acknowledged by classical medicine will be regulated, and they will find all the black sheep step by step, and they will sort them out of the market. So, you know, for the next 5 years, we will see a cleanup of a lot of companies and devices on the market whenever they are not in compliance with the regulation anymore. This is going to happen for sure. And it's just a question of time, how long it takes to identify those black sheeps and to finally get them off the radar, you know, which I personally, you know, I highly support this now, because like I said, there is so much crap outside, and, you know, there is a kind of a mentality that everybody is allowed to sell and to offer everything with all kinds of claims. And, you know, at the end, this is not benefiting our users and our clients anymore. And therefore, I totally support the idea of the authorities to strictly regulate, and the companies who will do everything to comply with all these regulations, those are the ones they're going to survive, you know. And once this is done, and once it is clear how our claims are defined for the units, once it's clear that we are registered officially and acknowledged as a medical device in all kinds of markets we are moving right now, nobody can touch us anymore, and we don't have to have fear anymore that, you know, neither you and me can be attacked because we're talking wrong things about what we are doing and what we are providing. And that will help tremendously to support those companies who are in 100% compliance, which Swiss Bionic strongly is a very, very strong advocate and ambassador. And we will definitely do everything to stay in compliance with everything is necessary to provide legal business for us as well as for you as our representatives. The problems with faulty connector box for new units, is there a possibility to improve quality control before sending out? Of course, there is always a new a possibility of to improve quality controls. Right now, I agree with you. The problem with quality control nowadays is, you know, every company, no matter in which faculty, no matter in which market, has problem with shortage of resources, and that reflects in quality control. And you know, we already improved because we have a 3-way quality control management system, and still we are not capable of detecting all the faults. It's getting much better and better, but we are not at where we are right now. You know, we employed a fully 100% compliance officer in our company since last year in June, who is also, by the way, accredited auditor, you know, and you will get to know him in the nearest future, because he also will introduce your role and your duties within the new QM system for medical devices. His name is Jürgen Ettenhuber, and he's a German guy. He speaks also English, and he's working for Swiss Bionic also to audit all our manufacturers and all our suppliers. But right now, you know, even he cannot travel. He cannot make local audits. You know, it's impossible, and that's why we have issues with quality control. Not because we are a stupid company and don't know how to do quality control, but the problem is we have not 100% control over quality control right now, because we are so restricted by all these measures, which are which are related to COVID-19. For any further feedback on our international Zoom subscription, please kindly send them. Okay, yes, okay. Thank you, Daniel, for posting this. Daniel is indeed fantastic and a great support officer. I can only 100% cope with this. You know, thanks, Daniel, for having you and always providing such great support. As the quantity of distribution increases globally, will there be a reduction in shipping costs? The quantity of distribution increase has nothing to do with the shipping costs. I give you an example. You know, in January 2020, when we send a 40-foot container from our Swiss warehouse to the US, the price for the 40-foot container was $2,500 US. Do you want to know the price right now? It's $8,500. So the shipping costs, you know, they quadrupled since the pandemic started, and it is related to shortage of space, and it's also that shipping companies use the pandemic to increase their prices. You know, so there will be no reduction in shipping costs, because the shipping cost is not something we create. You know, it's something the logistic companies create, and you know, we don't earn money on shipping costs. We just, you know, share the prices which we receive from the logistic companies. We would like to know if you would consider adding languages such as Chinese. Yes, to the control. Yes, we can. You know, I mean, technically, we would be able to implement any language. There is no limitation. If somebody would offer us to provide this kind of translation, you know, we would be more than happy to work with those people. The problem is, if I get a Chinese translation from the entire operating system of the IMRS Prime, I'm not even capable of evaluating this, because I don't understand. I cannot even read this language. But yes, we would definitely consider adding languages if we have support from people who know how to translate this kind of technical language which we have in the IMRS Prime into the certain languages such as Chinese, Vietnamese, or Thai. It's technically no problem. Yeah, easily doing. After upgrading to version 2.12, the actual temperature stopped showing. How can we get this back? You cannot get it back, because there was so much. I mean, I got so many emails how people interpret that, you know. So what you see right now with 2.12 is the temperature you set, and this is the only temperature you see, because the actual temperature was actually never accurate, because you have to understand there's a sensor built in at a certain spot within the whole body mat, you know. And depending on how you lie on the FIR mat, in which kind of environment temperature you are using the system, the sensor will never show the real actual temperature, what you feel. It will only measure the temperature at a certain spot where the sensor is located. And that's why we decided to skip this, and instead of showing the temperature which you preset, so that you have an idea to which, whenever you use it, what kind of sensation you have, and maybe decide, oh, it was a little bit too hot. Next time I go from 40 to 38 or something like that. Okay, here is Tom, our marketing director. He's also on the webinar. If you want to implement another language, please send an email to marketing@swissbionic.com. Tom did this already. Tom Mögele, our marketing director, he did this already a couple of times for all the other languages. He can provide you with a template where all the wordings of the IMRS Prime operating system and the operating surface are built in. And based on that, then we can easily create a translation file and send it back to us, and then we can implement it. Like I said, technically no problem. Well, perfect. So I would say thank you very much for joining me today. It now took 1.5 hours. I hope you enjoyed it as well as I did. It's always nice to interact. And we have another webinar, global webinar, coming up on the 30th of April. I think I sent the invitation out yesterday, where we talk about more and more about the business perspective, what changed within COVID-19 and stuff like that. You know, also how we can move on, how we get better in all kinds of directions. Just, you know, please, you know, reflect back on the basic value and the basic idea of network marketing, you know, and of direct selling. And this is, you know, teach other people what people taught you before. And this is what we have to take to our hearts. We cannot expect sales from our downline if we not support them, if we not teach them, if we not educate them, and if we not show them how the company would like to work with them, vice versa. So please, you know, I mean, we have these tools now like Zoom, you know, an onboard call for a new rep, showing them everything, the tools, the back office, you know, introducing them how to do business. You know, even an onboard call when a new user arrives to system, you know, to quickly do a system setup with them. You know, that would be really, really my wish, because I know this is the core of our success. And I would not be here anymore in this business if since 25 years, if I would not follow those rules. And I do faithfully, you know, and that's my wish for today. I hope I could fulfill your expectations for today's webinar. And if you have an idea about the next one, let me know, and send an email to Daniel. Daniel will usually shares everything you send to him in terms of corporate activities, and he will definitely approach me, and we will meet each other for the next webinar. So again, thanks and good night to Australia. We love you having us in our company, and we're looking forward to further success together with you. Thank you. Ciao. Bye-bye.